One Night in Miami. Spoiler alert. Stay tuned for today's thoughts. To do something different for today's thoughts. I decided, since it's Martin Luther King's Day, the day we honor him, I want to do a movie review for today's thoughts. I just finished watching One Night in Miami, directed and cast by Regina King, who we are proud of as that Black woman doing her thing in Hollywood. She's an all-around boss. So let's go into the movie. Now, this is a spoiler alert, so if you haven't watched it yet, Amazon released it and it is a very good movie. If you haven't watched it yet, please log into your Prime account and watch the movie. Let's support our Black directors and actresses and actors. Okay, so the movie, I like the way the movie opens up. It opens up and shows each one of our characters at the lowest points in their lives. And we have Cassius Clay, Malcolm X, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke. So the men decided to travel to Miami to watch the Cassius Clay fight against Sonny Liston. Of course, Jim Brown's one of the commentators. Once we get to Miami and you see the scene where Sam Cooke and his wife is in the hotel room. They're staying at the Fontaine Hotel, which is a luxury hotel in Miami. So the hotel is very, very, very beautiful. But Sam Cooke's wife make a statement. She says, "I love this hotel." She said, "but I would want to be with Malcolm and Cassius at the Black Hotel." So immediately you start to see a social difference between the two. So they go to the fight, and of course Cassius Clay beat Sonny Liston. I'm going to try not to drain this video because I really want you to watch the movie. Afterwards, they go to the hotel of Malcolm X. He invited everyone back to the hotel. Well, in the hotel, Sam Cooke pulls up in his bright red fancy car. He's the first one there. Well, he gets into the hotel and he looks around as if like, this is where they're staying? Because in comparison to where he's staying, it feels like poverty. It really does. So to me, when Malcolm, Cassius, and Jim Brown makes it to the hotel, to me, it seems like right off the grip, Malcolm and Sam is at odds with each other. And I like this part because I never knew that part of history. Their philosophical differences, their approach to success is different. We see that Malcolm is head on strong, feeling as if Sam is a white supporter. And we see that when Malcolm offered them ice cream and he only had vanilla, and then Malcolm says, well, vanilla is Sam's favorite flavor of choice. And then we see how Sam kind of fights back when he says that, you're calling them blue-eyed demons. Malcolm said, I didn't call them blue-eyed demons, call them blue-eyed devils. So we see the two of them constantly, coming at each other as far as what Malcolm feels Sam is not doing, or how Sam feels like the controversial between him is just too high. And one of the things Sam Cooke said that really touched me, he says, you need economic success. He says that he write the songs. He gave the illustration about how the song that Bobby wrote, who was on his label, and the Beatles took it, and Bobby got upset. But he said, guess what? Bobby only stayed mad for 6 months, because when those royalties started coming in, Bobby was looking for even more songs for the Beatles. He said, so those white boys are out there touring and working, but guess what? They're working for me because I wrote the song. I make the top money. I like that, because we see that back in those days, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And Sam Cooke owned his own label and his own masters. So he's trying to show Malcolm where freedom is with the money. But Malcolm is trying to show him those white people don't want you unless they're telling you what to do. So, to be honest, this part of the movie I felt like stretched out a little longer. The arguing and the convincing between Sam Cooke and Malcolm X. So at one point in the movie, Malcolm forgot his camera and he went down to get his camera. He called home. When he came back up, we see his paranoia because he see two men that he felt like he recognized in another state. And now he feel like he's being followed. He feel like there's bugs in the room. So they go upstairs to the rooftop. On the rooftop, the argument continues. And they're still trying to convince each other. But Sam says something that really touched me. He says, they have souls too. And if they have souls, then I can reach that soul because I'm a soul singer. And he says, and if I'm knocking down doors, that's going to benefit and help everybody. He said, one day there will not be a pop chart and black chart. One day there will be one chart. And guess what, y'all? We see that now. That was foretelling because now we see that where the Billboard charts. So then Sam says something that pushes Malcolm to the edge. And like I said, I'm not going to say the whole movie. I'm going to leave some details out because I really want you guys to watch the movie. So Sam says something that pushes Malcolm over the edge. They get into an argument. We see Malcolm's security come up. The brothers from the Islam come up. And they're kind of trying to go after Sam a little bit. But, Jim Brown jumps in. He breaks the fight up. They go back downstairs and the argument still pursues. I won't call it an argument. They're still trying to prove each other the points. I will say this though, and I said this earlier and I'm going to say it again. To me, it went on a little longer. I don't know. I felt like that point went on a little longer with the two of them clashing with their beliefs and what have you. And Sam storms out the hotel. Another thing was said that pushed him over the edge. He storms out. Cassius Clay follows him. But what I like is Jim Brown and Malcolm X is alone in the room. And they didn't know the name of it back then, but we know the name of it now. Jim is telling Malcolm X, it seems like the high yellow brothers go harder at equality than the dark. And Malcolm is like, what are you trying to say? He said, I'm trying to say, you can see a group of yellow women, bright women in a corner, and you can see a group of dark women in the corner, and you know who the white people gonna really want to talk to. And today we call that colorism. But Jim Brown was hitting it. He was hitting it. And he said to Malcolm, I don't know if you're trying to prove a point to white people or you're trying to prove a point to black. And that's the sad part that we got to keep in mind. I don't care if you're as bright as the sun or as dark as the night. I don't care. Black is beautiful. So whatever your hue is, embrace it because you are beautiful. So Sam comes back. Him and Cassius Clay come back. And we see another pivotal moment when Malcolm admits to Sam that he went to his concerts. And he remembered the most beautiful concert was the one at Boston. And he explains what he saw at Boston, and that touched them and kind of bring them back to a peaceful state. Then Malcolm admits to Cassius that he decided to leave the Nation of Islam and start his own organization. And Cassius is like, well, who's going to be with you? He said, I'm hoping you will come with me. Meanwhile, he's breaking into tears while he's sharing this information. So when he says that, Cassius feels used. He go towards Malcolm and he said, you use me. But if you can see like the dual of it all, Cassius feeling hurt and used. But if you can look at Malcolm, he's feeling isolated and just want his friend by his side because he don't know what he's coming up against by leaving the Nation of Islam. And so they have this moment and Malcolm says, look, if you felt that I was not a genuine friend to you, that I wasn't a brother, and that I came after you selfishly, if you thought that, then you are free to part ways, go your way. And Cassius stops at the door. And then all of a sudden, a group of reporters swarm the hotel. And they want Cassius to come out and do an interview. So Cassius stops. It's like a slow moment. He stops at the door. And he asks Malcolm, are you coming? And And Malcolm says, they're here to see you, champ. And he said, yeah, but I want you by my side. To me, that solidified the relationship of brotherhood between the two. So they go downstairs. Sam Cooke has a moment in that with Jim Brown, and he's saying that even though Malcolm came at him hard, it was kind of true. There is a song within him that he hasn't released yet. So it kind of gives us a hint of what that song is. So he was like, then do it. Write the songs that you want to write. Do it. They go outside. The conversation with the reporters are pretty much asking about Malcolm X. Malcolm X deferred back to Cassius Anderson's day. And then they go to a party. They decide to really do a party. Malcolm Cassius asks Malcolm, come take a picture of me. He walks to the window, kind of circling around to Cassius. And Cassius, he don't even really know the compliments that's being said, because he sees out the window those same two guys that, remember we said a paranoia was in? Well, now we see the paranoia is more of a reality, because his chief security brother is out there speaking to those two men. And it's almost as if at that point Malcolm saw the number on the wall. He knew that his days were numbered. So it transitioned to Sam performing on TV, singing that song, A Change Is Gonna Come. And we start to see the finale of their lives. Jim Brown announced he's leaving the NFL to pursue his movie career. Cassius Clay is converted to the Nation of Islam and now is Muhammad Ali. And we see Malcolm's house getting burnt down. And to me, that's the most touching point, with him coming out with that gun, trying to hold his babies, trying to hold his wife. It just felt like, man, you got the weight of everything on your shoulders. And then they're in the hotel, because he says nobody can write the book like him. And you see face down, autobiography of Malcolm X. And Sam is singing the song, tears coming out his eyes. And then it captions that Malcolm is murdered 2 days later. Oh. So, I'm giving the movie a thumbs up. It's a heavy movie. It's pretty heavy, but it's really good, really good. And we, as Black queens, we have to do our part. And that part is loving our Black men, teaching our Black children. I'm not anti-white at all, but I just feel like all of us need to have a seat at the table. And today, in honor of Martin Luther King, I wanted to share this and to encourage us as Martin, let's keep that dream going, and as Malcolm, our enemy is necessary. And I'm not referring to violence, I'm referring to just do what you got to do unapologetically to get your assignment, your purpose, your voice heard. You can be in that boardroom. You can be that lawyer, that judge in the courtroom. You can be that political figure in the government. You can be that teacher. You can be that housewife. You can be that best friend. You can be whatever you put your mind to be. And do it proudly. That's all I have to say. That was a good movie. Please go out, support Regina King, and I'll see you in the next video.